Hi guys, welcome to Learn Electronics Repair, and I have a box of SMD capacitors here. You may wonder why, so I'll get straight to the point. This is a kit of capacitors from AliExpress. We can see here variety of values, okay, and these cost me just over €10. I often do this when I'm actually ordering some parts for repairs, and I have a quick look around, think what do I need in my stock, and I order these kits. I find these to be a very good way to get plenty of components cheap. And the reason I'm telling you all this today is because I have some interesting news for you guys. Learn Electronics Repair has been accepted onto the AliExpress Influencer Program. This is not something you can join. I actually tried a couple of years ago, and the reply was, we'll find you when we want you. So what does this mean? Well, this means it's great news for you guys, because I can now offer you some really good discounts on anything you buy from AliExpress. Whether it's component kits like this, or whether it's anything else you're ordering. In fact, not only electronic stuff, anything really, with very few limitations. So I'm going to save you guys some money. So let's have a look at these capacitors. Let's see if they are good value for money. Are they what they say they are? I'm sure they will be. I'll explain some of the other things I do tend to buy, and I'm sure you guys will have different use cases, different things for different people. In fact, Detlef's coming in a little bit later, and he's going to chat about what he likes to buy. So we'll check these out. I'll show you one or two other things I have bought, and then let's see how you can save money. And you're going to save about 10% on anything you buy from AliExpress, pretty much. Okay, so quick look at these first. What I usually like to do is just test a couple of these components out of the pack when I get them, and I work on the basis that if they're okay, the rest will almost certainly be okay. So we can measure various things on capacitors, in particular the capacitance value, the voltage, the working voltage, and the ESR. So let's look at some of our capacitors. So we'll pick out, let's see, 220 microfarads, 10 volts. Have one of these, okay. And what else should we look at? How about a 47 microfarad at 16 volts? So we have a couple of capacitors there. Let's take a closer look at these. And we see they are marked CK 220, that's the microfarads, 10 volt, CK 47 microfarad, 16 volt. So the capacitance value we can measure 220, 47, okay. The maximum voltage, well, we can actually test this by using a bench power supply and just taking them up to the maximum voltage, and if they're fine at that, then they're okay. And the ESR, we can measure the ESR, but how do we know if the ESR is good or bad? Well, that's where this CK comes in. So this is the series of capacitor. And if we look up CK series capacitor datasheet, we'll actually find the specifications for these capacitors. And we see that here. So we have 47 microfarad, 16 volt here, okay. And you can see some parameters, and it tells you here. So the first one is the actual case size, the physical size, impedance to 100 kilohertz, and ripple. So impedance ohms at 100 kilohertz, that is the ESR, okay. And we can see that for our capacitors, it should be a maximum of 0.44 ohms. The other capacitor, the 220 microfarad at 10 volt, well, we can see those come in two different physical sizes. We can measure to see which one we have, and you can see the ESR for these, so 0.34 of an ohm or 0.26. So let's measure all the parameters and see if our capacitors are within spec. And we'll do the 220 microfarads first. So capacitance, this is easy. What do we have? 218, so that's fine, that's very close. Let's check this one while we're here. So this should be 47 or close to it. I mean, these are probably plus or minus 20%, so they won't be absolutely accurate, but you wouldn't expect that for electrolytic capacitors. But it should be close. Yeah, 47, spot on in fact. So we know the capacitance is okay. And now we can measure the ESR. So this is our capacitor, 220 microfarads. Just 0 the meter. Make sure I have a good connection on this. Yeah, it's pretty much 0. Okay, what do we have? Well, about, it's a bit difficult to get good contacts on this one, but about 0.3, 0.4, okay? And the other one, about 0.05, yeah. Again, it's a little bit difficult to make a good contact on it. Let's see how that compares with the data sheet, but they're well below what the specification said for sure. So this is giving maximums of about 0.34 or 0.26, 0.44. So we're within spec on those. I'm quite happy with them. How about measuring the voltage? To do this, I've just tagged a couple of wires onto my capacitor. It was the easiest way for me to do it. So the black stripe is the negative, the chamfered edge here is the positive. It tells us that on the data sheet. I've connected my bench power supply, so I'm just going to increase the voltage gradually until we reach 10, okay? If anything bad is going to happen, we'll see some leakage current here, so we can turn that back down again. Let's get up towards the 10 volts on this one. Okay. We're close. And that's at the rated value. You could leave that sitting there a while, but I'm quite happy. I mean, normally you can go a bit above that, you know, it'll actually go a bit over that. It probably go up to like 11 or 12. I don't want to actually blow this one up, but that's obviously quite happily withstanding the 10 volts. Capacitor is cold, of course it's cold because there's absolutely no current flowing. Let's look at the other one. And this one is a 16 volt capacitor. Let's try it. Again, we see absolutely no leakage current at the moment. I'll just turn the fine adjustment down, then I've got some adjustment left at the end, so I can accurately get this up to 16. Again, sitting there at 16 volt, let's just leave it a minute and see what happens. So that's basically how you would measure these parameters. You could go through all of the components, but personally I think, well, we try the 2 of them at random. They work, so I'm happy the rest of them will be okay. So, what you guys really want to know, how can you save yourself 10% or more on purchases from AliExpress? And this is for purchases of just about anything. Let me show you now. And here is what you need to know. You'll find this link in my video. I'm going to gradually add this link to all the video descriptions. It may take me a little while to do that, but in the description certainly to this one and 1 or 2 reviews I made recently, you will find this. The other option is to just enter this search code directly on the AliExpress homepage, and it says you'll see all the amazing items I've handpicked for you. Now at the moment I'm just working out how to customize that page properly, so what you'll actually see right now is just things I've ordered recently. I will find out how to filter them into the things I use the most, okay? But that's not really relevant because, as it says here, remember these codes can be used on almost all items in selected countries on AliExpress. I'm not sure which countries it covers, you guys can tell me, but certainly all the main ones I would think. And then these are the current discount codes. Now these run out, guys, at the end of May, okay, the 31st of May. So you got a bit over a week, and let's face it, it's around about payday at the moment, so anything you order, this is showing you, for example, you spend $9, you get $1 off, $19, $2 off, and so on. I mean, for expensive items, this gets into quite a percentage if you're buying something big. Yeah, $80, $10 off. I mean, you know, that's a good discount. So these are the discounts. There's no point in me putting these codes in all my video descriptions because the codes and the offers will change next month. But this link will stay the same. Let me show you what you see if we take this link now. And here it is. So these are some items I've reviewed. Those are the capacitors we were just looking at. This was a clamp meter we looked at recently. This is something we haven't looked at just yet, but we'll do that one. And the rest of the things here you'll probably see are things that I've bought, okay? Or things that subscribers have bought already using my codes. So I will try to figure out how to customize this, but here you see the codes, and these will be the current codes, so these will change with the month. So what you need to do next month or any other time is take that link, come back here, and you can see what you have. You'll also notice, because I'm in Spain, that this is now in euros, whereas on the other list it was in dollars. So when you logged into your AliExpress account, whatever currency you normally use in AliExpress, you'll see the offers in your currency, okay? So that's the great news I wanted to give you guys today. And remember, I've said before, but once again, you can use these codes on almost anything you buy on AliExpress, not just electronics items. To use your coupon code, you simply go to your basket when you have some things to purchase, and where you see your payment information, you have an option for promo code enter. So this is where you enter the promo code, and that's how you get your discount. It's quite easy, guys. And that's the great news I wanted to give you guys today. So yeah, just go and save yourself some money. Just make a note of that link or the code you enter into the search on AliExpress, and it will take you straight to my influencer page. Look up the current offers, and then when you go to buy, as I showed you, you have the option to enter the coupon code and more money in your pocket to buy something else another time. Yeah, okay, so I did mention I'd discuss a few other things that I actually tend to buy in bulk, but this is my personal choices that suit me. Detlef will be along in a moment to talk about what he buys, and I'm sure you guys will be down in those comments below saying what your preferences are, or just let us know what you've ordered, what codes you've used, and how much money you've saved. I'm sure we'd all like to hear that. Amongst the things I found really useful are these packs. So these have lots of different USB connectors in them. It seems there are like 101 different types of these, and then when you've got all 101, there's always 102nd. So I buy them like this. I have plenty of each, and then if I need a type which is not in here, I just buy them individually and add them to collection. Yeah, same with these. So these ones are all USB-C. I have a similar collection of micro USB, which again I bought as a kit. So lots of different types. So I find these to be very great value and very handy. It's quite a common thing to have to replace USB connectors, and although you'll be buying quite a range of them, I suspect if you just do one repair with a whole kit, you've paid for it, yeah, and you've got all the rest in stock. So connectors I find very useful, and also packs like this. So this one came with lots of these different shells and some leads. Some, I think they're either strain relief or they are heat shrink. Okay, so these are only just a couple of euros or something, and they are well worth having in different sizes, because again, connectors are something which I find often are broken. Other ones in particular I've bought recently on AliExpress. So these sort of kits I find great. I mean, they're very inexpensive. If you're beginning at this, I don't say buy everything all at once, but just start with the things you need, and then, as I say, normally every month I'm ordering, I'll find something else and then go, yeah, I'll have some of those. So I have, for example, 3-watt resistor packs, 2-watt, 1-watt, various different options. I find that these are cheaper where they just come as loose strips rather than in these storage boxes, but that depends on how you want to store them. I'll show you how I store mine in a moment. Another ones definitely I've bought are Zener diode packs, so both SMD and through hole. I know I don't have this type of Zener in my stock. These are what are called MELF, metal end leadless face or something like that. Okay, so something like that, once I've spotted them, I will buy them. I mean, from 2 volts to 39 volts, 262 for a lot. So I'd put them in my cart, and then next time I want to buy, well, they're sitting there as well. There's another similar pack of those. Okay, so there's lots of these offers around. Variety of diodes, various different types, common types. So I would often buy something like this as well. I find them very useful. I have a whole pack of these types. So these were axial lead inductors. They look a bit like resistors. They have color codes on them. Okay. So rather than buying these individually, I think I bought these in actual fact because I needed a particular value for a project. I thought, you know what, let's just get a pack of these now. Yeah, that's how I tend to work. Another one I've definitely bought are these ones, so various voltage regulators. Again, I find these commonly fail. And also, I use them in projects, so that's another useful one I found. And SMD voltage regulators, so we can buy individual types or a 70 pieces kit, and it gives us all the various different values. So that's what I'm buying. We all have our own different needs. So Detlef's coming along. Let's see what Detlef likes to buy. While we're just waiting for Detlef, I can just show you. So for example, these are my SMD capacitors. See the different sizes, 0402, 0603, and so on. Resistors and capacitors actually down here in increasing sizes. So each one of these will have little bags, and in there we'll see the various different values. So these came as loose kits, if you like, just lots of strips without any sort of container. That makes them cheaper. Again, some larger ones, all SMD, different sizes. 1 kV capacitors. These all came again as a kit in a plastic box, so I've put them into little individual bags here. There you go, in there. I don't see the plastic boxes again because my wife likes to use them to keep her jewellery in. I thought she might say something. Okay, yeah, so you can see, for example, like SMD polymer capacitors, different values, voltage regulators. So that's where I keep all my components of these types. Again, all these came as kits, so resistor kits. 1 watt resistor, 2 watt resistors, and in here again we can see the various strips that came in those bulk packs. Same here, for example, with different Zener diodes of different values. 1 watt Zeners, 2 watt Zeners. So that's how I store them. And those are a few examples of the things that I've bought myself from AliExpress in these type of packs. Things I've had no problem with, that have worked just fine for me after I bought them. Of course, there's lots of other things you can buy. And remember, we have these coupon codes, so you're going to save money. No matter what you buy from AliExpress, use these codes, not just for components, but really whatever you fancy, yeah? So you've seen what I like. My friend Det's with me actually today. Let's see what Det likes to buy. And here is Det.
Hey guys.
So you guys do know that I'm basically into repair work. I do a bit of projects, but it's mainly repair work. But Det, you have other interests, yeah? So
I'm coming from a totally different perspective here because I'm more the designer here, I'd say.
Okay.
Would you say, Sam?
The maker?
The maker, yeah. This is the new word, yeah. Yeah. And, well, when I started with microcontrollers, I started with AliExpress, you know, because you get your stuff from AliExpress because it's cheaper. Sorry, Arduino, but I don't want to spend 21 euros for a board with an Arduino in there, but that I can get for 2 euros from AliExpress.
Oh. And you had no problems with the ones that you've bought?
No, I don't have any problems with these. They simply work.
Okay, so what do we have here to show these nice people?
Yeah, I can go for it. I'll have a look. This is back from the days. The early days, yeah.
So this is an Arduino Uno?
This is an Arduino Uno form factor, but it has an ESP8266 on there. So see the little CPU module to the left? This one, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's not just the Wi-Fi, which has Wi-Fi on this, obviously. Yeah, okay, yeah, powered by Wemos.
Yeah, and I still use these kind of things. When I want to do something development, there's your thing. Because it has a serial converter on there, it gives me all the pins out there.
Oh, great.
For development, I don't need much more, you know? And I normally start my project with modules. And I buy these modules from
AliExpress, of course.
Of course.
Okay, so what do we have here then?
I brought you a handful of these.
Okay, and guys, we'll try to give you some links in the video description to some of these items so you can have it yourself.
Look at this. This is a classic.
Oh, yeah, and this is new. This is obviously being used, okay?
Yeah, of course.
And tested and proven, of course.
Of course, yeah. Over the years, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is an ESP32 module. You get the ESP32s. We use them in most of our projects where you only use the little silver thingamajig in the top here. So, and but for experimentation, modules.
Great. And you have a bag full of these things.
Yeah, I have a bag full of these. Yeah. If you don't want to spend so much pin or don't need so many pins, well, you could go something like this.
Okay.
Same CPU, different pin out.
Just so, less
more compact,
inputs and outputs, yeah? Okay. And Detlef, you buy these things in bulk then?
I do, of course, yeah. Because you never need only one. And chances are you blow one up while you're experimenting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And these come with some USB-C connectors. Sometimes, there's a pin out on the back.
Yeah. So there's no point in giving you guys an exact price because it changes day to day. It changes with tariffs and such thing, yeah. And it depends on where you live, postage and whatever.
Tariffs, right, yeah. Sorry, all the people in the US.
So we have those. And by the way, of course, the coupon codes, they're just like anti-tariff measures, yeah? So get some of your tariff back. What else do we have there?
Like these little ones. These are complete CPU boards. This is an ESP8266. The naked chip, you can see the naked chip. This is the one on the left, the square one.
Okay.
And the right one is the SPI flash ROM. This is 1 megabit of flash.
Mm-hmm.
And the little antenna over there is for Wi-Fi.
Yeah, and then there's just attaches to your project.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. 3.3 volt receive, transmit. Yeah.
Yeah. There are not so many IOs on there. And
no.
You probably can't use IO 0 because this is used for booting. But you can use IO 2. And with some tricks, you can use the RX and TX pins as IOs.
Okay. What else do we have in your little bag of bits?
Well, I could give you these ones here.
Okay, so these ones are more modules.
Yeah. These are not any microcontroller modules, but these are modules for boosting voltage, or is this a boost thing?
Yeah, these are DC to DC converters. So these will either give you a higher voltage than you put in, a lower voltage than you put in, and some of these things will give you a negative supply from a positive supply.
Yeah, this was a special case. I normally use these ones. I used one of these yesterday for the keyboard I just bought at the flea market.
Oh, okay.
Too many keyboards, I tell you.
So again, you're buying these in bulk.
Yeah, of course.
And just for a few...
They cost cents.
They cost cents, yeah. Yeah, so it's useful to keep a stock of these things, guys, if you're experimenting.
Yeah. And if you got boost converters, of course you need a box with buck converters.
Ah, okay, so they were all boost converters. These are all buck converters. So step down,
And look at me, I did a fancy print out there, what's in there. So
yeah, so rather than buying all these individually, you just bought a whole pack.
No, I bought them in individual.
Oh, and you marked them up. Okay, yeah. I often find with bulk components myself, guys, I'll buy like a pack with all the values, and obviously I'm going to find myself using one value more than others. So I then just stock up on the ones I'm using most, but I've always got those when I need them. Yeah. Okay, so what we have here?
Loads of step downs. Yeah. For every occasion you can use. Sometimes you only need some linears here. This is just a linear converter, so all the excess voltage is converted to heat. And then you got some switches in there, and some have regulators on there, some don't. Or just have naked chips here sometimes.
Oh, I have to say that you're very, very organised here.
Sometimes I am. Because I'm too lazy to hunt for them.
Yeah, and sometimes you need to be.
Why use these pre-made modules? Because you can design them by yourself. You simply got a data sheet of one of the chips.
Yeah.
These are improved designs. They work.
Yeah.
So I don't have to fiddle around with what does the datasheet say here? How do I scale down the coil that's needed on there? The inductor, sorry, the inductor. Yeah. And these are working designs. This is a fancy one. This has a charging circuit for a LiPo cell and has a variable voltage output.
Let's have a closer look at it. Okay.
Yeah, this is something you would like.
This one.
Yeah, because see the little trim pod? Yeah, this has a boost converter.
VC adjust or something.
This is a boost converter included.
Oh, V out, I see, that's the output voltage, And I guess, Det, as you say, these are designs which are known to work. So if you were designing your own, you wouldn't reinvent the wheel, you would copy this, basically. Yeah. And I'm guessing it would cost you more money to make these yourself in small quantities than it would to just buy packs of them from AliExpress.
Absolutely, yeah. And with a box like this, you're set up for most of the cases. Sometimes you need weird things like negative voltages, but you get them from AliExpress, you know?
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, you've seen what I like to buy in the way of component packs. You've seen what Detlef likes to buy, which are little modules. Interesting to hear what you guys would like to buy, so let me know. Or should I say let us know in the comments below there. What sort of things would you buy in bulk packs like this? And also let us know what you'd like to use those coupon codes for. Okay guys, go and save yourself some money. Ciao for now.
Ciao for now.